Hello everybody, and I'm Ruth, otherwise known as Delightful Planner, and I'm here with my first YouTube video to show you my setup for One Book July in 2016. If you don't already know what One Book July is, I'll link to Romany's video below where she explains everything. This year they've got two versions, but I'm doing the traditional version that's been running for the last couple of years, which is a month-long planning challenge of getting back to your basics, stripping away all the bells and whistles and going with one book, one pen for 1 month and working out exactly what you need. Now, it's much more flexible than that and you can really make it whatever you want, but that is what I've been trying to do this month. So, my pen is a Uniball Micro Deluxe, which is just basically a nice, cheap, affordable gel pen, but it writes really smoothly. Is my phone going to focus? Anyway, I pick them up by the dozen, really cheap on Amazon. So one simple black pen, and I've got my Leuchtturm Emerald Dot Grid, which has been my work bullet journal actually since February. But I've now put all of my personal planning in there and my appointment planning, and it is stuffed to the gills, as you can see. So because I've been using this notebook for months now, I've got the main areas of my collections and my notes that I refer to a lot, all tabbed at the side. And you can even see how well used they are because the ink is fading, they're looking a little bit tatty. I am getting towards the end of my notebook. I think it's only going to last till the end of this month. I generally am a really big lover of colour, so it's all colour coordinated depending on what the sections are to me. So if anything's sort of digital or IT related, I have it in blue. If it's children related, this is to do with work rather than my children, which is virtually all my personal planning. It's in yellow. I look after two branches, so they both have their own pages in here. You'll notice I've not opened the notebook yet. That's because I've lived out this notebook so much for the last few months. There is a stack of mine and other people's personal information, so I'm actually going to be able to show you very little of the book. But I will show you. One bit I can show you is the Calendex, which is, I mean, I found out about it from Cara Benz, who's Boho Berry, and I can link to her video below as well. But basically it's an overview of your whole year, and I got it all set up in February, and I'm finding I don't actually use it the way that I thought I would. I mean, you can tell I've been using it for so long because, I mean, you can see this colour all over the place. I'm very colour coordinated. The main way I actually use this is to get a full year overview of when we run our core offers at work. We're part of a library service, so it's all very reading based. And otherwise, it's just to keep an overview of when I've got staff on leave. There's one of my cats claiming he's a starving animal and hasn't just been fed, which is a lie. And otherwise, the next bit I can show you is actually part of my July setup, which is here. Right, so move that out of the way. Where I've set up my monthly tracker. I love a monthly tracker, I've got to say, but this month, just to challenge myself, because I'm an old hand at it now, is I've joined my work and my personal tracking, and I'm just doing it in one colour. Normally, it's a whole rainbow of colours down here, and I follow the squares along, and again, I just do the colours according to what makes sense with my brain. Naturally, a lot of the time, if I think of a particular topic, I associate it with a particular colour. I can't give a particular reason for it, but, you know, if something's computer related, it's blue, you know, see this. If it's children's related, I tend to go sort of more yellow. If it's planning, it might be a pink or a purple. Weekly reviews for me are always a purple, and I couldn't tell you why. They're just purple. This month, however, it's all black. I have adapted it in the last couple of months, inspired actually by Romany from Romany's Realm, to actually set weekly goals at the bottom. And I'm finding that is very good for making me much more focused on what I need to be doing that week. You know, the whole idea of having top daily tasks, top weekly tasks, and I should be doing top monthly tasks, but monthly planning is something I am still struggling with, which we'll go on to that. You can see one of my top weekly goals this week has been potty training and interview preparations, because we're going through a big restructure at work, which shows you the variety in my life that I have at the moment. Right. This was my first attempt at a monthly setup. I keep going back to this square grid and I keep finding I just can't make it work. I was inspired by this layout because I saw Wendy Wanderer do a beautiful layout on Instagram. So I gave it a go, and I think I made my squares far too small, and I just got as far as putting in people's birthdays and then thinking I can maybe write one more thing in all of those squares and that'll be it. What else do I want to write? So then I thought, well, you know what, I can make it a blog planner. I can get much more prepared with what I'm doing and what I'm going to run and when. And so, you know, I could see I started scheduling it out for what posts I was going to do when, you know, planning to run it for the Saturdays, doing a running sort of planning down there. And then I just looked and thought, the squares are too small. Turn the page over, start again. And we'll see that in a few pages time, because what I'd already set up is my standard. I do monthly trackers for my physiotherapy because I've got a condition with my back that means that I have to do physiotherapy to make sure I sort of strengthen my core to support my back, and it's also why I have to take regular pain medication for, although it's a lot less than it used to be. Yay! I've also recently started trying to track my sleep. I did this a few months ago and it was quite successful, and I stopped. And then I slowly stopped sleeping as much and not realising it because I wasn't tracking it, which sounds ridiculous, but then I suddenly realised one day that I was feeling lousy, and it wasn't me coming down with anything, and it wasn't side effects of any of the medication I was on. It was just me being tired, which is a ridiculously simple answer, and it's something that's so fundamental that we need to do, but it's something I think we all quite easily can let slip sometimes. So I'm putting this here not because I need to work on what time I wake up. The time I really need to work on is when I go to sleep. You can see today I got up that bit earlier just so I'd have time to record this before I get invaded by my horde of children. Right, and the next page, move on to there, is I am attempting to do the Plan With Me challenge as well this month, which is run by Pretty Prints and Paper, Tiny Ray of Sunshine and Boho Berry. It's a brilliant challenge. I mainly follow it on Instagram, but they do have Facebook pages and all sorts. I used to do it religiously, and I'm struggling to find the time to do it since I'm back at work now because my back's doing better, so that's a good thing. You can see anything I think I need to refer to a lot this month, I've just washied down the sides so I can keep a track. Now, this is what I was trying this week because throughout July I'm actually at work very little, which is one of the reasons I thought I might be able to get away with planning in just one book. My mother, who normally looks after the kids on a Monday and Tuesday, is off having a fabulous time in France following the Tour de France round in the camper van. So it means that I'm not working Mondays and Tuesdays this month, and I never normally work a Wednesday anyway. So I'm only working Thursday and Fridays, which is a rather nice change. But it does mean that those work days are completely nuts at the moment. And to be honest, the family days aren't really any less nuts either. This makes the days look really calm. I have 3 kids. One 2.5-year-old, who is the one that's being potty trained at the moment, which takes up a fair bit of time. And the other 2 are 4.5. They currently go to a preschool in the mornings from 9 till 12, and then they're home in the afternoons. They're the ones that have a dance class on Tuesday, which makes it sound much more formal than it actually is, which mainly seems to be them playing music and jumping around and having a brilliant time. But they're the ones that go to that. That's not me. I keep going back to this daily layout with my planning. If I've ever got a day where I need to be in lots of places or I need to get lots of things done. So because we were potty training, I literally just spelled out what I needed to do at what time for the rest of the day. But you can tell it didn't really take up a lot of time. I'm a big fan of picking out my top 3 tasks for a day, even if it is potty training and needing to ring my card company. And I was supposed to record the video then, and I didn't. But then that's just the way it goes. Put a bit of meal planning there. Tried popping a little bit of gratitude at the bottom of the page. Just to try something different this month. I've done it before in a monthly layout, and I do actually have a separate journal that I'm not counting as part of this challenge because I didn't want to interrupt that. I did the same thing on Wednesday, and then obviously Wednesday is the day I turned around and went, yeah, that monthly set out's not working. So I'm trying this. And ironically, I've kept it quite nice and blank so that I could record it. After I've sent this video up, I'm going to pack it in with all the information I think I need, and I will actually give it a go, and we'll see if I can make it work. Because weirdly, if I'm at work and I'm using a work calendar, using Outlook, I love a monthly set out like this when I can just whack it all on digitally or colour coded, because it's me, it has to be colour coded. But for some reason in a book, I just don't use monthly setups. It could just be I don't need them, but I keep having this little feeling that not only that I should be using them, but it'd be really useful, and there must be a way I can usefully use a monthly setup that I'm not doing it at the moment, so I keep going back to them. Then got a load more pages that I'm not showing you. So I've set this up. You'll notice this is for a couple of weeks' time. I've literally just set this up this morning just so I could show you what I've started to do this week, where just so I can get a quick weekly overview. I'm trying this weekly setup so that I could put work and family on the same pages next to each other and see where I need to be. So on this side is work, so you can see I'm on annual leave Monday, Tuesday, always off on a Wednesday, and then what I'm doing Thursday. Friday's an office day, I've not written that in yet. And then Saturday I'm actually working for the morning, doing a children's activity, which is what the BFG stands for. And then on the right hand side, this is what we're doing as a family. So the girls actually have a dance performance then, which is when we're going to get to see their routines. I've finally been signed off from my physio, woot woot. So I'm having a physical assessment where I now take over doing my own sort of physical exercises to maintain my health with my back. And then the girls have a swimming lesson on Saturday at that time. And then this is where I'm going to list my tasks. I do some future planning for my tasks. If I know there's bits and pieces I know I need to do during that week, I'll then be listing them there. So it'll be things like, okay, the dance performance at 4:30, but the kids actually dropping off at 4:15. And if there's any other bits and pieces that I need to write, and there'll be a load going down here for work, but I also run it as a running task list, which is very much part of the traditional bullet journaling method. And I'll be adding to that there. And so far, otherwise, that is it. You can see I've got quite a few empty pages still. I'm on page 199 when I get to that, so I am coming to the end of this. If I find there's a day where I've got a load of tasks, I'll just flip over the page and I'll just do a daily setup for that page. I have got some very full daily planning pages in here, but the days that I have things like that are the days where there's loads of personal information on, so I can't actually show you them. But the way it's actually laid out is actually very similar to the ones that I've just shown you. Again, there's the cat claiming that it's poor and deprived and hasn't just been fed a whole sachet of food because she's a poor deprived animal. She's not, she's as big as a barrel. And otherwise, that is it. That is the end of my first video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments, and I'll try and make sure I link all the things underneath that I've promised I have. And otherwise, I'm going to go back to watching everybody else's videos on One Book July and seeing what methods they're using for inspiration. If you want to do the same, go and check out the hashtag One Book July 2016 on YouTube and wait to see all the brilliant things everyone else is up to. Bye bye!